Hi, I'm Dr. Kieran Johnson, the creator and founder of Quantum Technologies. Today I'm going to talk to you about my product, obehave, and its analysis by Izon. So why have I chosen to use Izon as a validation tool? Their qNano and their technology to try to understand how many particles per mil I have in my product. So my product is quite strange, and it is based on the fundamental principles of how light interacts with matter. I can go into some details, but really the upshot is it's very hard to use light-based methods to analyze something that uses light as a source of energy, which changes the structure of the material itself. Therefore, you would go, well, what is it? How does it behave? What are the actual methods of doing this? So I'll start back at the beginning and then give you some idea why I chose the Izon qNano as an appropriate tool to measure these colloidal nanoparticles that I'm isolating out of Manuka honey.
qEV is based on size exclusion chromatography. It works by separating extracellular vesicles based on their size as they pass through a column packed with a porous polysaccharide resin. As molecules enter the resin, smaller particles become trapped in the pores, delaying their exit from the column. As fraction volume is collected, particles are distributed across the volume based on size. Some void volume is eluted first, followed by the vesicles and then other smaller particles. This provides the most rapid, repeatable and effective EV isolation system available. Additionally, with the automatic fraction collector, qEV is capable of being scaled up to thousands of samples.
So Manuka honey, we know, is a pretty amazing product. The fundamental science that's responsible for its mode of action is not widely known. Okay, so back in 2010, I was doing some research for a company and started discovering some aspects of Manuka honey that didn't make sense. Didn't make sense to me, at least. As a biochemist being trained, I've got a master's in molecular genetics, a PhD in biochemistry, BSc double major, plant and microbial sciences and biochemistry. A decade of my life spent at university, and then 18 years as a research scientist helping New Zealand companies develop products. Very challenging working with a product, natural products, that have an energy system built into them. As soon as you dilute the honey into water, it starts doing things, chemistry and physics. So you need to be able to use tools that look at the product at different kind of frame rates in order to understand what is going on within it. So the light responsive nature of these materials meant when you use particular frequencies or spectroscopy techniques using light, you are interacting with the system in a way in which it's changing its composition over time, because the energy of the light being used triggers physics and chemistry reactions within the material. And so it's very difficult to understand what is going on when it keeps changing and keeps changing so quickly. So that's where Izon has a technology that allows you to use physical means as an impedance. As a particle travels through nanopore, you get a change in voltage, and this can be utilized to count and determine particle size based on the amount of time that it takes to go through the pore, the nanopore. So having a tool that doesn't use light is beneficial for analyzing a product that changes its shape and structure depending on the frequencies of light that are present within that environment.
The Izon qNano is a simple but powerful measurement device which enables you to measure the physical properties of nano and micro-sized particles in solution with a high level of detail. The technique is known as Tunable Resistive Pulse Sensing, or TRPS. Particles from 50 nanometers to 20 microns in size can be measured one at a time as they pass through a tunable nanopore. The qNano is a personal benchtop device that conveniently connects to a laptop by USB for recording and analysing data. qNano uses nanopore technology for measuring particles. Nanopores are specially fabricated membranes which fit to Izon instruments and contain a single nanoscale hole. A nanopore is attached to the instrument and electrolyte solution is added to either side of the pore. Ionic current flow through the pore is monitored and displayed on screen. 40 microliters of sample is loaded into the upper chamber of qNano. When particles cross the pore, they block the flow of current, resulting in a blockade signal. Each signal corresponds to a single particle passing through the pore. Measurement usually takes between 10 and 15 minutes. Each signal can be analysed to extract detailed information for thousands of particles in the sample. The height of the signal determines the size of the particle. The duration, or time particles take to pass through the pore, allows determination of particle charge. Finally, the rate at which particles pass through the pore determines the sample concentration. qNano enables individual measurement of particles in a sample. The high level of detail provides confidence in your experimental results and enables you to get representative information on your sample. Izon Control Suite software is a full data analysis and reporting package which enables you to extract detailed information from your measurement. A variety of graphs and reporting options are available, including size distribution plots, charge distribution plots, particle by particle plots, and overall sample concentration. The detailed information available through qNano is being used to gain a new level of understanding in research, including drug delivery systems, microvesicle analysis, and viruses and vaccines. qNano is a simple and unique technique which uses nanopores to provide a more detailed view of your sample. Izon, explore your world.
So when I was studying honey, I started using some skills and techniques that I had developed over a number of years as a VJ at dance parties. I started videoing and filming what was happening under a microscope, and that provided me some information which I can show you today. For one thing, the materials that were being generated as part of this light energy system that is inherent within Manuka honey allows the changing of shape of a fluidic system and how that is really able to integrate that energy of light into the structure of matter. So this is really how light integrates into physical structure, not something that a protein biochemist really needs to know about, but very intriguing to watch how I change different frequencies of light and DAPI light, so UVA, under a microscope and seeing how that changes the structure of the material that I was investigating. So Manuka honey has royal jelly proteins. Those royal jelly proteins have been analyzed and shown to be around 100 nanometers in size. The number of those royal jelly proteins and the composition of those has been determined and shown in the literature. What's a little bit different about Manuka honey, though, is the presence of methyl glyoxal, the magic molecule MgO, and the role MgO plays in inhibiting glucose oxidase, so preventing the formation of hydrogen peroxide. So without hydrogen peroxide, Manuka honey has to kill its bacteria in a different way, and it uses a special process called photophenton chemistry. So this photophenton chemistry is reliant on the ability of light to interact with an aromatic ring of the various phenolic compounds, but also the other electron donating compounds such as glyoxyl, dihydroxyacetone, and methyl glyoxyl, where single atoms of iron can interact with the electron donating groups, pi electrons, or the free electrons on oxygen in the methyl glyoxyl or dihydroxyacetone. The interactions that are occurring allow the photoreduction of Fe3 to Fe2, and under those conditions, the iron is then able to react with hydrogen peroxide to produce what's known as a hydroxy radical. So the hydroxy radical is what is causing all the grief, essentially, with respect to analysis, but it's also providing an energy system within the body that promotes death and regeneration. So they're produced as part of apoptosis, or pre-programmed cell death. So it is a naturally occurring system within the body. And this is actually where the antimicrobial, anti-inflammatory, antiviral aspects of Manuka honey come in. They come in because of the short-lived high-energy radical species that's generated from the interaction of light with monoatomic minerals binding to pi electrons in the phenolic groups. So it's a very complex light-driven interaction producing high-energy, short-lived electrons. The amount of energy, 1200 electron volts. The half-life of a hydroxy radical is around a billionth of a second. So you could say that is not really biology, but it's physics. It's the physics that's happening within the Manuka honey that's responsible for its potent antimicrobial activity and its ability to really kill a whole wide range of things. That amount of energy is able to put hydroxyl groups or methyl groups onto the compound being reacted with, and that changes the actual chemistry and electronic structure of the material. So it's no longer what it was. It's become something else because of the chemistry that is being driven by this light system that's within Manuka honey. So as we know that light is the fastest thing in the universe, how did I come to discover this material or this process that's occurring within Manuka honey? Well, being curious, I really just approached it using first principles. And once I figured out basically what was going on due to the composition, I could mimic that using artificial approaches to see that I could generate hydroxy radicals and make these fluidic systems that respond to light using monoatomic minerals and hydrogen peroxide. Because that hydrogen peroxide system's been switched off in the Manuka honey because of MgO reacting with glucose oxidase, it's missing part of the reduction oxidation process that drives this energy system. We then go, okay, if that is the case, if we isolate the particles, which is what I'm doing, and that's my real, I guess, key skill as a protein biochemist, figuring out how to do industrial purification of proteins and apply those concepts to, well, it requires light for activation, so therefore using it topically. So what I've really done is develop a topical energy spray to go and say, well, actually I'm going to be using high energy electrons to cause the destruction really of bacteria break them down into something else that the body can use as an energy source. Rather than trying to kill them, I'm trying to harness and harvest them as a source of energy for the body. So the approach is a little strange for people to kind of get their heads around. And it's very strange watching how light interacts with matter and creates different structures because of the frequency that you're using or the color that you're using. So again, using a physical technique like Izon's Q-nano, and being able to isolate such particles, these royal jelly proteins from Manuka honey, is where the story that we currently hold around Manuka honey being MgO being the key molecule to, well, actually there's a light energy system that's in Manuka honey. It's photoreduction, photooxidation kind of systems, and it produces these high energy short-lived radicals that bacteria and viruses can't tolerate, because what you're doing is reacting with them, breaking them down into other things. So your biology has been doing this for a long time, and uses hydroxy radicals for that exact purpose in apoptosis as a way of biological recycling. So the technology that I've developed is really just a method of purification and understanding what's going on in this light-based energy system that's inherent within Manuka honey. I hope you guys explore the product as well as the technologies that are used to analyze it. The methods that Izon have are very cool. Yeah, thanks for the opportunity to share with you what I'm doing with regards to creating regenerative energy products that have widespread application. Hopefully they'll be widespread. Thank you. Bye.